And good afternoon, and thanks for joining us here for our 10 Weather Impact Show. I'm meteorologist Aaron White, alongside Chief Meteorologist Chris Tomer.
Here we are, first day.
Yeah.
Just like going back to school.
How's it feel?
It feels really good.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this for a long time, so it's awesome to be here. You and I were just outside shoveling. We still got to get rid of all the snow, but luckily it's going to warm up.
Yeah,
and
finally.
I mean, this is, we were talking before we just came on. This is day 7, or this could be day 18 of having temps below 32.
Yeah, if we do not hit 32, I think we're only about 29 degrees, so it might be day 18, but tomorrow I think we're going to crack it easily.
And then if we do, I mean, it's going to feel balmy, and we're going to start to melt a lot of this the snowpack out there, because it's actually pretty deep. My yard, I mean, it's like 8-10 inches out there in some places.
Just so much snow. I mean, we've had over 28 inches of snowfall for the season so far, and you're coming in from Colorado. You spent over 20 years out there, right? And what would you say, I mean, just kind of coming back to Ohio now, what was your most I don't know, significant weather event, something that you kind of enjoyed forecasting? Of course, they get a lot of winter storms, but what's one thing that you want to talk about, I guess?
I've been asked this question a lot, Aaron, and I would say, the storm that we just had here that dropped a foot of snow, that's a big deal for Central Ohio. I remember growing up here, and to get a foot of snow, you got to have a lot of the right ingredients. In Colorado, we get about 4 of those every season. It's typically twice as much snow that you would get, here in the Columbus area. So, we get about 4.
No, I remember I lived in Colorado Springs back in the late 90s, and there's one year where we got 2 feet of snow just from one winter storm. And I mean, it's wild what they did in Colorado. And of course, we all know, and we can get some of those here, maybe not 2 feet in one storm, but we'll get a little bit of snow.
No, and that's so true. We don't have the mountains, and so it's not as much of an orographic situation here.
Yeah, but I think we're all happy to see the snow melting here now.
Oh my gosh, here come the 40s, right?
And also something interesting that happened yesterday. Check this video out. This was on Lake Erie.
Oh yeah, you sent me this.
Yeah, so the satellite image is showing this large crack expanding over 80 miles. And I mean, the crack had to be at least a couple miles wide for it to be actually seen on satellite.
So it's that black little line that you see right down the middle of Lake Erie right there.
Yeah, just remarkable. And I saw so many people talk about this yesterday. Of course, it doesn't happen. This is the first time I've ever seen a crack like that just right across the lake.
Yeah. And do you have any idea how much of the lake is frozen now? I think you keep tabs on this.
Yeah, last time I saw it was up to 97%. I'm sure that's changed a little bit now with some of the ice kind of getting pulled away from the northern shore there. You can kind of see a little bit of the water exposed, but it's going to be melting.
Yeah, check out your, I think I even retweeted it. You can look at, it's not Twitter now, but you can check it out.
Yeah, we'll have another update on that.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the forecast here. So, Aaron, this is our live view outside. A little bit of cloud cover. I mean, I did see the sunshine. It was like around the lunch hour, but now the clouds have obviously rolled in, and they may actually stick around through the course of the night. We're looking at 29 degrees. I mean, that actually feels pretty warm. 29 degrees. We'll start to melt some snow in the coming days. Here are the current temperatures and also the real field temperatures. So looking at Columbus right now, 29. That's our air temp. Delaware's there. Newark in the upper 20s right now, even in the upper 30s. So breaking freezing just to the south of Central Ohio. Over the next 12 hours, the temperatures, we're thinking we might actually touch freezing. And there's obviously the cloud cover forecast. But then through the night, we'll drop back into the 20s. But that's not nearly as cold as it has been the last few nights. Here are some of the headlines. What I'm seeing when you look down the road, 40s are a big thing here because like we were saying, it's been 17, almost 18 days now since we cracked freezing in the Columbus area. So 40s on the way, I believe starting tomorrow. And we're going to melt a lot of snow. Of course, there's a refreeze effect overnight, so watch out for black ice. That'll be a thing over bridges. And then we're not talking about snow. We're actually talking about rain possible in the forecast for this weekend. Looking at that streak that we've had now, 17 days, if we do not actually break freezing today, we'll up that to 18 days. So 18, and that puts us in, I believe, 5th place right now. But 38 days is the record for the top cold stretch with temperatures not breaking freezing. And look what we've got coming. A giant ridge of high pressure will bring in all of this warm air out of the central part of the country, and it will affect Ohio. We're going to see temperatures soar in the coming days. So we're going to break out of the deep freeze. And there's our ridge of high pressure coming out of the Rockies. So when you look at these, just watch for the warmer colors on this. This actually represents pressure, but watch this high come in and look at the warmer colors with with that ridge of high pressure. So all that warm air is going to be moving into Ohio, and the west now will flip and become colder and stormier. Essentially, you see this all the time with that seesaw effect. One part of the country is warm with high pressure, the other is typically colder. All right, satellite and radar. So that's the cloud cover that we're seeing right now across central Ohio. When you look up to the north, that's kind of the storm track up here. You can see some of the snow across a lot of the Great Lakes. Looking back to the west, that action will probably miss us and go around for the time being. But as it does, that's going to allow that door to open and all that warm air is going to come up from the south. So looking at our hour by hour, we'll start this out this afternoon, not necessarily picking up on all that cloud cover, but there is obviously some of that out there. This is 5 p.m. So a dry evening rush hour across I-70 and I-71 here in the Columbus area. Watching the night here, this is 10 o'clock tonight. This definitely has some clouds, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that we see a little bit of fog pop up across parts of Franklin and Licking County, Fairfield counties. And there we are at 6 a.m. tomorrow. So the morning rush, notice the low kind of gray look to this. That could certainly be some fog there showing up in that forecast when you wake up tomorrow morning. So overnight tonight, clouds early, maybe even a little bit of fog, down to 25 tonight. So not necessarily in that deep freeze, because we've been in the single digits in teens for so many nights now. Now tomorrow we're going to go up to 44 degrees, and yes, there will be some breaks of sunshine mixed in with the clouds. The wind won't be bad, up to 15 miles per hour. Now, over the next 7-day forecast, your 10 weather impact forecast here. So tomorrow, look at that, all the way up to 44. And again, that's going to be the first time that we break freezing, potentially, if we don't do it today, in roughly 17, 18 days. And a slight chance of a sprinkle. On Wednesday, pretty cloudy and 35. Looking at Thursday, in the middle 30s, but that's also above freezing, and we stay there. When you look at the extended numbers, Aaron, I mean, that is really something to see all of those 30s and 40s. The weekend, that's Valentine's Day right there on Saturday.
Yeah, finally making progress. I know we'll have to probably watch for some fog at some point, and of course, all the snow melting could lead to some issues with some flooding, especially some of those storm drains that are kind of blocked by some of the snow.
That's right. That's actually a good point.
Have to watch that, but
I mean, I was thinking, okay, what am I going to have to shovel so that you don't get things clogged up?
Yeah.
Okay, drains and all of that. Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people haven't really been able to shovel too much because it's gotten so frozen that it's kind of hard to even get a shovel
workout
in there. Yeah.
Like my arms were pumped.
Sure.
After I did it yesterday.
Yeah. So hey, at least we're making progress. I know everyone's looking forward to that. And something interesting with all the rain or the snow and stuff, the melting that's been going on. This was a rare sight in Missouri, but over 100 feet of icicles dangling over a water tower. Just kind of a wild sight.
This is down in Missouri, right?
Yeah, just north of St. Louis.
Just 45 minutes north of St. Louis. Authorities say a leak started last month and started freezing because of the outside, obviously the air temps there were below freezing. So the mayor says the unintentional ice sculpture isn't a risk for collapsing under the weight of itself, but neighbors say they are hoping for a slow warm-up this spring so the leak can be fixed.
Well, I'm hoping that it's just a nice, slow, so it'll kind of look cool coming down and not a big old burst.
That's all right. All right, so authorities say the leak is about the size of a garden. Oh, that's it? The size of a garden hose? And so, it's doing all that just because of that little leak. So far, there are no disruptions in the water service in town.
Which is good, and something actually over in New York, one community embracing the winter weather. Of course, we all kind of try to find a way to embrace it. But over the next week, an ice castle will be completed and ready for their winter fest. Hopefully they don't have too much warmer temperatures to melt some of that. Right? But for the second week in a row, students and volunteers have been carving massive chunks of ice from a nearby lake and laying the foundation for Mayville's winter ice castle.
Okay, so she's pulling the trench down, and she's gonna hook it up to the end of the block, and then it's gonna pull back up.
And besides giving students real hands-on experience, it's turning the classroom lessons into something the entire community can see. Once built, the icy attraction will draw thousands of visitors from across Western New York, giving a big boost to the community. And I mean, it's a cool sight to really see, and just how much effort and detail they're putting into that.
Hopefully there's a nice kitchen in there and a nice double bath and van.
Yeah, some hot chocolate maybe too.
All right, so finally today, let's check out some new video into us right here at 10 TV. SpaceX's Falcon 9 continued its launch of 25 Starlink satellites. You ever used Starlink? It's
I have
pretty
not.
slick.
Yeah, it is really slick. I know
Yeah.
a lot of people use it when they've been in some of those remote areas and
Exactly.
stuff, and it really helps. And I mean, there's so many satellites. And have you seen them?
I have,
the trail
like
go
a
by?
string of pearls in the sky.
Always a cool sight.
And so that's happening out there in California. A lot of the video captured by WKRC shows portions of the, this is the next video.
Yeah,
right?
the next video.
Portions of the Ohio River frozen over. The Anderson Ferry, which transports passengers across the river into Kentucky, was actually suspended on Tuesday due to river conditions. So they had like icebergs.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, so much ice there, and the concerns that we're going to be having to watch there on the Ohio River, but even some rivers here in central Ohio, of course, with the melting, going on, ice jams going to be a concern. That snow melt running off into some of those rivers, that's going to be a concern as well. So
I just don't think about that very often. I
No.
know it's happened in the past.
Yeah.
On some of these rivers.
It's been a few years at least. I mean, go back to 2019. I know that was one of those years that was really cold across the Midwest, and likely one of the years where there was some ice jams occurring. But last year this time we only had about 12 inches of snow on the ground, or in total for the season.
And that's crazy. I think we're close to like 30 inches roughly now.
Yeah, there were some
in
60s in February last year. So
that's
a little bit of a change.
Oh, look at this one. So we got to talk about pizza. Today is February 9th, which is National I didn't even know this, Pizza Day, and I love pizza. A host of good deals. There are a bunch of deals from popular pizza chains which will be offered to customers today. Domino's is offering a mix and match type deal in which customers, they can.
Ooh, just look at that.
Yes, I mean right there. They can, can you advance that just a touch? They can choose any 2 or more menu items for just $6.99 each through February 9th. Pizza Hut customers, so you've got Domino's and Pizza Hut, they can obtain a $10 big New Yorker type pizza deal, which comes with extra large foldable. I'm not really into the foldable thing, but you can fold your pizza there. And lastly, Stonefire Grill rewards members can save 50% off any size pizza.
Just gotta get hungry just thinking about that right now. Just looking at the video, I mean, it sounds so good.
I could sometimes eat like a large pizza myself.
Oh, I've done that in the past. It happens, but pizza's good. Everyone loves some good food, and especially with the Super Bowl yesterday, I'm sure a lot of people had pizza, chicken wings, all the good food.
Yesterday was a busy day. I mean, I was watching that game last night, and the first half I was like, okay, this is kind of just a little boring.
It was a little slow,
It was a defensive band. I guess there was a little part of me that was cheering for New England because of Mike Vrabel, having his roots here. And so I was a little disappointed.
It happens. But hey, it's still, at least it was a good game and everything. And some good commercials, and the halftime show was remarkable. So everyone enjoying that. And also enjoying our forecast because, of course, we got the warmer temperatures in the forecast. And you're going to be in this afternoon tracking the warmth here.
Yes, I'll be here. This will be this is like my first full day of doing this, which is great. I'll be in on the 4, the 5, the 6, the streaming, and then of course later tonight. So we'll have some fun with that. We'll see what everybody's doing here, what's interesting to everybody. We'll put a fun show together. So stick around for that.
And see if Chris decides to put some 50s in the forecast here at some point.
Do you think I might? Do you think I'll go
next week
above the 40s? We'll see.
We'll have to see. So tune in for that. And until then, you can catch more news and weather online, as always, at 10tv.com.